Now, as governments and health officials remain firm around what is deemed essential during a lockdown, on a personal level, that can be fairly subjective, from outreach programs to simply peer support. The importance of community groups in some people's lives is often hard to measure. Despite that, many have been forced to close their doors. The Drumsdale Drinkwater spoke with members of the Hummingsong community choir who've been staying connected and in tune via webcams in Sydney and Melbourne.
It's the opposite of COVID safe. Hundreds of people gathered together singing at the top of their lungs. But never has it been more important for the women of this choir to keep humming along. For Fiona Mitchell, it's mental health support.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 weeks before my 50th birthday. I just really went down a lot harder then, more severe and chronic anxiety and secondary depression.
Now in her 60s, she's in a much better place.
I would say I'm in recovery and have been pretty much since I started with the choir.
Fiona joined the Hummingsong Community Choir on Sydney's North Shore in 2018.
It was quite a big thing, walking into a hall full of women, animated, chatting, all of that. But I felt instantly at home.
A warm welcome is built into the choir's structure. Across its 12 all-female singing groups in both Sydney and Melbourne, no one in the now 800-person choir auditioned. The group's power felt on national TV.
That was one of my favourite, most beautiful experiences.
But when lockdowns cancelled last year's performances, usual efforts by the choir to raise money for women's shelters seemed dashed. That was until they jumped online. A virtual concert wasn't just harmonious, but was also a huge success.
Just from that one video, we raised $46,000 for the outreach program.
With both Sydney and Melbourne back in lockdown, founder Anna Humberston has pulled out all stops.
We've tried everything possible to keep the community connected.
Katie, are you holding your fingers and your thumb in a shape?
We've done singing lessons online and ukulele classes and sing-alongs and like spotlight lecture talks on different interesting musical topics.
For others, it's about much more than learning.
It's seeing those faces, it's hearing those jokes, it's having those laughs. It just takes the sting out of isolation and lockdown.
Well, with apologies to the rest of the panel, I think Ben's the performer.
Oh yeah, seal with the ball.
I don't know what you're singing to get through. How are you getting through it?
You know what? A lot of Nintendo.
Okay.
My standards are slipping, obviously, but also my nephew started to walk, and even though I can't be in Queensland, it's so great to see my nephew Cohen taking his first steps, even though I can't be there. It's a very, very cute waddle. And the other thing is I'm starting to not ask, how are you, when I greet people. I say, what's good and what's bad, because I think it's important to acknowledge both.
Won't even begin with what's good and what's bad. Damien, really quickly, I don't know, you're singing to yourself in lockdown? Is there singing across the way at people that you see?
Yeah, you know, I'm watching old movies. I watched Singles from the 90s last night, and that sort of made me smile, seeing that. But, you know, the thing I keep telling my kids is, you know, one day at a time, and this isn't forever. And that's the kind of thing that we've been using to get through it.
Remember, wasn't it George Harrison? All things must pass. I think we can, maybe we should all join in with that.
Exactly.
That's all we've got time for. Thanks so much.